Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is going to be a good one, guys. I'm telling you, just by looking at the plated version that May had, I'm just so excited to cook this with you guys and with May, and definitely taste it. It just looks so yummy. So thank you guys for joining us today. My name is Jessica Sanchez, and I'm here in partnership with Jewel-Osco and GT Universe. And we are going to be cooking up, like May said, the quinoa white bean salad. And it looks amazing. So before we get started though, I did want to let you guys know that today's virtual cooking class is part of our Celebrate Earth program with Jewel-Osco. And so we're going to be featuring some healthy, good for you brands, good for you products you can find at your local Jewel-Osco stores. And we'll also be showing you guys some produce, some fresh produce from Jewel-Osco. So you guys are in for a treat. So also before we get started, I do want to mention that we are going to be recording tonight. So, you know, we'd love for you guys to show your lovely faces, but we understand if you don't want to. And also keep the chat function nice and PG. We love to be very respectful here in this chat room, and yeah, ask any questions throughout the event tonight, and we'll be sure to hand those over to May or to myself, and we'll go ahead and answer them. And also, there are going to be two different types of raffles / giveaways happening tonight. So we do have two prize packs from Navitas, and that includes a shaker bottle, a little baggie that you could store your snacks, and it also includes a pack of Navitas products. So that is included for one of, there you go, Stephanie's showing them off. And that will be two winners for that. So Stephanie will be doing some trivia questions in the chat function. So be sure to pay attention to that and answer them for your chance to win one of those. And then we'll also be doing one other big giveaway that you guys might have already seen. We'll be giving away a $50 Jewel-Osco gift card to one lucky winner. All you have to do to be entered into winning that gift card is ask questions in the chat function. So at the end, we'll put all of the names inside of a little raffle drum, and Stephanie will pick the winner. So be sure to be participating, asking those questions, and we'll be sure to answer them, and you'll be entered to win that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to May of Nutrition Happens, and so take it away.
Hi guys, my name is May. I'm a Chicago-based registered dietitian nutritionist, and I'm all about making delicious and healthy meals that are both easy and quick. So this recipe, if you like easy meals that are like quick, fast, and healthy, this is for you, because tonight we're doing this like beautiful, it's a pesto white bean quinoa salad, and it's so versatile. You can use all your favorite summer vegetables, and all of these brands I found at Jewel-Osco, and I love that they're accessible for everyone, and there's always like a great selection. And so I don't know if anyone is cooking along, but we're just gonna go ahead and get started, because the first thing we wanna do is actually turn on our stove for our quinoa. So in my pot over here, I already have 1.5 cups of water. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn that on high. And I know cooking quinoa sometimes can be really intimidating for people because it's like one of those grains that people kind of buy, like put in their pantry and like forget about it because you don't know what to do with it. But I promise you it's actually a super easy and fast grain to cook. So in the pot, I already have 1.5 cups of water. We're just gonna turn that again on high. And while we're waiting for the water to boil, the quinoa ratio when you cook this is always going to be 1 part quinoa to 1.5 part water. And for every 1 cup of dry quinoa, it's gonna make about 3 cups of cooked quinoa. So it's a good amount, and it's one of those grains that store really well in the fridge. So if you have leftovers, even better, because I promise you the salad tastes like even better the next day. And I love having the quinoa. This is the True Roots one. And this is like one of my all-time favorite quinoa brands because I don't know if you guys are familiar with cooking quinoa, but usually before cooking quinoa, you always want to make sure you rinse the quinoa because there's actually like a natural covering on quinoa called saponin. And if you don't rinse it off, you'll like cook really bitter quinoa. So pro tip is to always rinse it off, but with the True Roots one, it comes pre-rinsed. So it's like my secret little like kitchen hack. You don't have to pre-rinse this one. It's pre-rinsed, so you can all you have to do is just like put it in when the water is ready. And I chose quinoa as like my base for the salad because quinoa is like a fantastic allergen-free, gluten-free grain, and it's an excellent source of plant-based protein and fiber. And that combination is going to help us keep us fuller for longer, and it helps us stay satiated and fuller, satisfied for a long time. So that's why I really love using the True Roots quinoa. And this is one of those like pantry staples I always have, because you can always like get a few bags, put it in your pantry, and you're always going to have like a base for like a really quick meal. So we have the quinoa, and the next thing we want to do is just like prep while we wait for the water to boil. We just want to prep the rest of our ingredients. So the next ingredient we're going to have is actually going to be the bush rice beans. These are the northern, Great Northern beans. They're white beans, and I love adding like additional beans into this recipe because you can totally go meatless. Like this completely covers your entire meal with all plant-based protein. White beans are a fantastic source of, again, plant-based protein, fiber, and I'm using the white beans today, but feel free to sub in like any other of your favorite beans. I know Bush's does a fantastic organic line. I grew up on Bush's beans, so this is a really great option. It's low sodium, it's cholesterol free, and again, you get the plant-based protein and the fiber. So we're gonna go ahead and prep our beans. And again, like I said, white beans, fantastic in a summer salad recipe, but feel free to sub in like your favorite garbanzo, like chickpeas, black beans, they all work. And what we're gonna do before we add to a salad is just to make sure to open the can and drain it. So I have a little colander here, like this here, and you're just gonna pour it over your sink, and just to get rid of all that liquid in there, and you're just gonna give it a nice rinse. And I love, again, white beans because they're also a fantastic source of magnesium, and magnesium I feel like is like absolutely one of those underrated vitamins because magnesium is actually what helps us regulate stress in the body. And I know it's kind of like a stressful time for everyone right now, and magnesium is like one of those highest vitamin amounts in white beans. So this is like a fantastic source in this salad, and it adds also like a little bit of texture to the salad as well. I like my salads like a little crunchy and like a little with a little bit of everything. So if you add beans and fresh vegetables into it, you get like a lot of variety as far as like textures go. So I think our water is ready. It's boiling right now. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and add in your quinoa. Like I said, you just want to do 1 cup of quinoa to every 1.5 water, or you can also, if you wanted to make this more flavorful, you can also use like a chicken broth or like a vegetable broth in place of your water. And that will also help make this like a little bit more flavorful. But we're going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of the quinoa. And we want to let this cook for 15 minutes. So what you're going to do is also, you're going to need a pot with cover. So we're going to cover it, and we're going to turn this down to like a medium to low heat. And this is going to simmer for about 15 minutes before it's ready. So let's go back to our vegetables that we're prepping. So I already have the white beans that we're prepping set aside. And next we're going to add in vegetables. So the beauty in this recipe is that you can absolutely sub in your favorite vegetables. So summer is a great time for zucchini. You can also add in corn, you can add in your favorite spinach, any kind of vegetable will work in this recipe, but I am using today cucumbers, and I'm also using these beautiful little like grape tomatoes. Jewel has a fantastic selection of grape tomatoes. They're all so fresh, and I'm using these today because they're nice and colorful and gives like this dish like a nice little pop. So that's why I'm using grape tomatoes today. And also grape tomatoes and cucumbers, they're both like extremely hydrating foods. So both tomatoes and cucumbers are made of like 90% water. So especially during the summer, I know everyone's trying to stay hydrated and everyone's trying to chug water, but there's actually a lot of fruits and vegetables that naturally have like a really high water content. So these two vegetables are fantastic in salads. I also love them because they add like a little bit of crunch, extra crunch into the salad. So what we're gonna do is just slice the cucumber. You can absolutely slice it in any way you want to, but I'm just gonna cut it in half. So you're gonna get like half a cucumber, and then you're gonna cut it long ways again. And then you're just gonna dice them. And you wanna keep the peel on the cucumber because most of the fiber will actually come from the peel on the cucumber, outside peel. So keeping that on will just give this dish like an extra boost of fiber. And again, you can cut this like any way you want it to. I'm just gonna do like little bite-sized bite-sized pieces. And again, I'm using the grape tomatoes in this dish because grape tomatoes, or tomatoes in general, they're a fantastic source of lycopene. And lycopene is actually this antioxidant that we need to help us reduce inflammation in our bodies. I know when we're stressed, that affects kind of everything we do. And so naturally, lycopene can help us fight that stress in our bodies. And tomatoes, any kind of fruits and vegetables that are red in color, fantastic source of lycopene. But again, like I said,
cool.
Yeah.
We actually have a question. So is there any way to keep a cucumber fresh after cutting it?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just like wrap it in some aluminum foil and put it in like a little Ziploc baggie. That way you can like keep the moisture contained, because what really helps, or what really ruins vegetables like really fast, like, you know, when you get like the big like container of spinach and like any kind of vegetable, you just like throw it back in the fridge. What ruins it is the moisture. So if you're able to keep the moisture out, so like any kind of like leafy greens, like vegetables, it's like the next vegetable we're using it in the dish. You open the package. Oh, here's a pro tip. If you open the package and you actually put in a paper towel like this, I'm using like the Scott paper towels today. They're like my absolute favorite brands of paper towel. I don't know if you're like a paper towel like loyal fan of like a certain brand, but like Scott #1. So this will actually help keep your leafy greens like fresher for longer. Try it. Let me know how it goes, because I promise you it's because your paper towel is actually keeping all that moisture out. So this is like the pro tip of the day, is just keep your veggies fresh, is to keep that moisture out. So this is, let me know how it goes, because seriously, like people will tell me, they're like, wow, it actually works. Like, but the spinach I bought like last week still is fresh today. And I'm like, I know, you kept the moisture out. So pro tip right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing tip, because yeah, same. I like to buy the bigger containers of spinach for like my juices and all that. And like Jewel-Osco has that deal all the time with like the big containers.
Yeah.
And I just can't make it last like the entire week. So now I'm going to try that trick.
Yeah, no, that's the trick, is just to keep the moisture out. And which, I mean, I know it's like, when you think about it, you're like, yeah, no brainer. But I love the big containers too. And honestly, it'll last me like 1.5 weeks. So I always get ambitious with like the leafy greens.
That's awesome. And then are all the veggies you're using today, are they all organic?
Yeah, so cucumbers are organic, and tomatoes, there's so many like varieties of tomatoes, like you can go organic or non-organic Jewel. But usually I just like look for like tomatoes that like are just like nice and like bright and firm. And usually I can go like organic or non-organic for tomatoes, either one. But usually for cucumbers or like leafy greens, I'll like go organic because I eat a lot of that. And leafy greens, that's actually our third vegetable that will go into the salad. Salad without some leafy greens. I do have arugula today, but feel free to sub in your favorite leafy green. I usually say that leafy greens are like my like secret to adding a little bit of nutrition into everything, because you can do like salads, you can do smoothies, like you can saute it. And the beauty of this recipe is again, like you can sub in your favorite leafy greens. Like we're doing arugula today, but if you have spinach, use spinach. If you have kale, use kale, because the best way to like maximize all the nutrients from any kind of leafy green is to actually rotate them. So if you eat spinach this week, like next week, swap out for arugula, and then like the week after, swap out for kale, because you're actually like rotating all the different vitamin like contents and like the mineral contents. They vary from leafy green to leafy green. So if you rotate them throughout the month and you just like swap them out every other week, you're like maxing out like all the benefits from leafy greens. So feel free to use it in your favorite ones. Feel free to sub in your favorite ones. And if you don't have fresh leafy greens, I always say like I feel like the biggest myth in nutrition is like people think that frozen foods aren't as good as the fresh ones. And with fruits and vegetables, the frozen fruits and vegetables are actually picked and harvested at like peak nutrition, because they're harvested like right when it's like super fresh and ripe. And then it's like frozen. So it actually like maintains like all the nutrients and like the vitamins. So like definitely don't be afraid to like stock your fridge up with frozen vegetables, frozen fruits. They all contain equally, if not more, vitamins and minerals than their fresh counterparts. So yeah, little nutrition tip of the day. So let's go back to finish cutting our cucumbers and our tomatoes.
I actually had just heard of that myth of not being afraid to use the frozen veggies and fruits, and like I was mind blown because I totally thought it was the opposite. Like it's just so much easier to throw those in like soups, things like that, and now I know like I can totally go for that.
Yeah, no, I always keep in my freezer, I always have frozen blueberries, frozen spinach. I know like Jewel has like those big like frozen packs of just like the mixed
Yes.
foods. Yeah, I always keep a huge like container of that in my freezer because I like will use them for like smoothies, and I actually will like use like the frozen fruits. I'll throw it on top of like hot oatmeal, so like it kind of like melts a little bit.
Ooh, good idea.
Yeah, it melts a little bit, so it adds like a little natural like sweetness to like oatmeal in the morning. So they're super versatile, super just also like frozen fruit. Like it could be like a kind of like easy little after dinner dessert, like frozen grapes. Oh my gosh, if you guys haven't tried like freezing your grapes and doing that as a dessert, it's like a fantastic like little post dinner like treat. But yeah, so again, feel free to sub in your favorite vegetables here. I know in the summer, I try to get like as much variety as possible. And besides like cucumbers and tomatoes, I'll also throw in, like sometimes in my salads, I'll throw in fresh fruit. I know peaches are in season. If you guys like love like a good summer fruit, peaches or like blueberries are also good to throw into a little summer salad. And you want to look for like tomatoes that are like a variety of different colors, so you get like to max out like all the different benefits and nutrition of each tomato variety. All right, let's go ahead and check back on our quinoa. It should be almost ready. We're just gonna like give it a stir.
It's looking good over here.
Yeah. Is it getting fluffy? Because I know like the biggest like fear about like cooking quinoa is getting like really mushy quinoa. And really the biggest tip about cooking quinoa is to leave it. So after 15 minutes is up, so we have like a few more minutes before the 15 minutes is up, we want to like go ahead and let it sit for an additional like 5 minutes. So you want to like, look at your quinoa, because like letting it sit and steam for like an additional 5 minutes, like after we turn off the stove, is like the tip for cooking like the perfect quinoa, because the worst case scenario is mushy quinoa and no one wants that. So in order for you to get like a really fluffy quinoa, you want to like let it sit after you turn off the stove for like additional like 5 minutes, so that like the steam will like absorb any like remaining water, so that you get like nice and fluffy quinoa. So that's like another tip about quinoa. I hope you guys are like taking these tips and like running with them today, because this is like the trick for you guys to like love quinoa for like the rest of your cooking like adventures.
That's awesome. And then how much fiber and protein do you get like per serving in the True Roots quinoa?
You get 6 grams of protein and 3 grams of fiber. And that like will totally like in this dish though, like you're boosting it with like additional vegetables, you're like boosting it with the addition of the Bush's white beans. So this is like a fantastic, like really nutrient dense meal. And like I said, you can keep this meatless, or you can throw in an animal protein if you want to. So this salad will go really well with like a fish. I know it's grilling season, so you could do like grilled chicken, like grilled steak, or again, you can leave it totally meat-free and you still get all of the benefits from the plant protein, and you also get the benefits from the plant fiber. So it's like a really nutritious like powerhouse dish, and it's versatile too. Like I said, you can totally like swap up the veggies, like swap up the grains. If you have like like True Roots, I think also has like a pasta line. So if you want to do like a little pasta salad, like that would be like a fantastic option as well. So let's go back and check out our quinoa. I think mine is ready. So like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off. And you're gonna want to let it sit for like additional like 5 minutes or so, because again, like you want the steam. I'll kind of show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like on the border of like being like nice and fluffy. Jess, is yours looking kind of like nice and fluffy?
Yeah, it's looking good. I feel like this is the fluffiest I've ever made it. So.
Oh my god, that's like the best news. So yeah, we're gonna let this sit for additional like 5 minutes to let it steam to get that perfect quinoa base. Do you guys have any more questions while we wait for the quinoa to kind of get fluffy? Is anyone else cooking along? I've got like my Topo Chico along with me. You guys, like Topo Chico is like my like, all-time favorite drink. Like I have an entire cabinet devoted to Topo Chico. It's like calorie-free. There's like no sugar in it, and it's got like that perfect like little like carbonated fizz. Sometimes I'll do like a little like fresh like citrus juice in it too. I know they make Topo Chicos in like the lime and the grapefruit, but sometimes I like throw in like a little fresh juice. Like I'm obsessed. I have like an entire cabinet like devoted to Topo Chicos. I don't know like if you guys are looking for like kind of like a soda alternative, or like you're looking for like a little lower sugar kind of drink, but Topo Chico, #1 in my book. And you can find this like by the case at Jewel, and I'll like pick it up by the case at Jewel.
Same. I feel like I really love that they do carry those flavors, like the original, the grapefruit. I'm having the grapefruit today, and the lime, because it just gives you a little bit of a variety, and it's so bubbly. It's one of my favorites too. I love it.
Yeah, and also like makes like a really like low calorie, like sugar-free like mixer. If you're like doing like a drink for the summer, it's like a fantastic mixer. And it's just like so bubbly. I haven't like had any other kind of like carbonated like water that's just so bubbly. And again, I love it by just like the case. I would like show you guys like my Topo Chico cabinet right quick while we wait for the quinoa to finish. But I have like an entire cabinet devoted to Topo Chico. I can't go do without it.
That's awesome. We do have some questions coming in. So May, if you want to check out the chat function, or I can repeat all of them, but we've got a ton of questions coming in.
Okay, yeah, if you want to go ahead and pick some, Stephanie.
Yeah, so what are the total calories and protein in this dish today? Do you know? I know that you're making it from home, but.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally calculate that and just like send it back if you guys like, like have everyone's emails. We can like totally email you guys and get like the complete like nutrition, like macronutrient down. But like just combining all of like the pesto and the quinoa and like the white beans, like this has like well over like 25 grams of protein, which is like about how much you need like in one meal. So this is like the perfect like high protein, plant-based protein like dish. But I can like calculate that at the end, like send that over.
Awesome. And then is there any nutritional drawback to cooking the quinoa in a pressure cooker?
No, it's like, oh my gosh, like if you have like a pressure cooker, fantastic way to batch cook grains. Like I usually will use like a pressure cooker, like an Instant Pot. Like there's no nutritional drawback. You still get the same fiber, you can still get the same nutrients, vitamins, like the protein stays the same.
And then do you ever throw any herbs into the quinoa like while it's still cooking?
So I like to save the herbs at the end because fresh herbs kind of like wilts a little fast. And so I don't usually like to cook it in the quinoa. I like to throw it in as like a garnish at the end. So like at the end of the day, we'll like throw a little basil over our salad. But if you're looking to add a little bit more flavor to the quinoa, like I said, cook it in like a broth, like a chicken broth, like a veggie broth, and just like add like a little pinch of salt. That'll give you a little bit of flavor while you cook.
Awesome. And then we had a couple people asking where you went to school.
Yeah, so I am originally from Charleston, South Carolina. So I grew up in the South, and for my undergrad, I went to Clemson University, which is in Clemson, South Carolina. And then I came to Chicago for grad school. So I've been in Chicago for 5 years now. I've been a dietitian for, oh my gosh, it's like going on 3 years now. It's crazy. It just feels like it was yesterday. But I came for grad school and I got my nutrition. I got my nutrition residency and I did my MBA at Dominican University.
Cool. Thank you. I think that's all of our questions for now, except for one last one. What are your favorite local brands found at Jewel?
Oh my gosh, so many really great local brands. Like one of them I'm actually using today, and it's Gotham Greens. So they have their hydroponic farm like on like closer to like the south side of Chicago. And they make the freshest like lettuce, like leafy greens. Like today I'm using their basil. I think I have it like right here. We're gonna use this basil to garnish at the end. Absolutely like one of my like favorite like local companies because it's just like, I don't know if like I wish you can like smell through the screen, but if you ever go to Jewel, like go check out the Gotham Green section. It's like in the produce section and like try the basil, because I think like every single person I've ever talked to who like end up trying the basil, like never go back to like anything else but like their basil. So this is like a really great kind of like local find. I also love that you can find RX bars at Jewel. They're like a local company that I love supporting as well. It's like a high like protein, like simple ingredient protein bar that's made from like egg whites and like dates. So if you're looking for like a really nutritious snack option, I would look for like the RX bars like in the protein bar aisle.
Perfect. Thank you, May.
Yeah. All right, so I think our 5 minutes is up. So I think we can go ahead and start assembling our salad. So after, Jess, is your quinoa ready?
It looks really good. It looks good to go.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna go ahead and give the quinoa like a nice fluff. So after it steams, again, don't skip this part because you need it to steam to get like the quinoa nice and fluffy. And it looks perfect. So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and add in our pesto to the quinoa. I am using the Ralph's basil pesto today. Ralph's makes like one of my absolute favorite red sauces. This is what I stock my pantry with, is the Ralph's red sauce. Like my pantry is constantly stocked with Ralph's, like the red sauce, because they're made from 100% Italian tomatoes, like no artificial ingredients, no fillers, just like tomatoes, like really fresh olive oil. Like this, like once you go like Ralph's, like taste Ralph's, like you'll understand, I promise. So they also make a fantastic basil pesto, and this is what we're using today. So we're just gonna add this in. You wanna do like either like half the jar or like 2 large scoops of the basil pesto. And you wanna mix that directly into the quinoa. And feel free to adjust. If you like it like very basil pesto-y, feel free to add more. We're gonna be adding more basil pesto at the end too. So again, this is like the beauty of this recipe is that you can totally adjust, add more vegetables if you want more vegetables, take out the vegetables if you think it's too much, add an additional protein if you want, add more basil pesto, add less basil pesto. I love recipes like this because, again, like you can find like all the ingredients like really easily. It's versatile. You can have for lunch, like it stores well in the fridge. So if you have leftovers, like you can have this like the next day. Those are like my favorite recipes. It's like as versatile as it gets. So after you mix the basil pesto into the quinoa, what you're gonna do is start assembling the salad. So you wanna take like a large serving bowl like this, and you just wanna start assembling your salad. So what we're gonna do is put the pesto at the bottom. As the base. And then go ahead and throw in the rest of your ingredients. So you want to do like a handful of arugula or whichever green that you're using. You guys will have to like send me an email about this like leafy green, like making it last longer trick, because I'd love to hear how you guys are enjoying it after this week.
I'll definitely be tagging you on an Insta story for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna add in the rest of our ingredients. We have our grape tomatoes, our cucumbers. Add in a little bit more grape tomatoes because I love a good grape tomato. So I want to show you guys what it kind of like looks like pre-assembled. It's like nice and fresh and colorful. And then to this, we're also going to add in the Navitas hemp seeds. So it's a nutritious enough meal as it is. So to add in like a little extra nutrition, I love adding like a little sprinkle of hemp seeds. This is like my secret ingredient to like everything I want to add like a little bit more nutrition to. These are the ones from Navitas, and I like these because they're really high in omega-3 fatty acids. So they're a good kind of fat that we need to support healthy skin, to support healthy brain function. There's so many benefits to hemp seeds, and this also adds in like a little extra crunch. And it also has like a ton of plant-based protein, fiber to make this dish like a little bit more nutritious. So this is like my secret to like making any dish more nutritious. I like to add it to smoothies. You can just really add it to anything because it doesn't taste like anything, and it's a really great way to like boost any nutrition to any of your recipes. And I usually like to store it in a glass jar like this because a lot of times like with things that are like packed with like really healthy fats, they tend to go bad if you don't store it in like cold conditions. So the best way to store hemp seeds is to actually put it in like a jar like this and then like put it in the fridge. But like I was saying, I use the Navitas hemp seeds, and I love the Navitas line. Their ingredients, high quality, and one of the best things about it, Navitas, this is their essential superfood blend. So I love throwing this into like smoothies because it tastes like a chocolate milkshake. But there's like a ton of like super green powders like packed into this blend. And I love this company because they actually will use local farmers. So they only choose farmers that uses sustainable farming practices. So truly these ingredients are actually good for us and the earth. So Navitas also has like other superfood blends, like protein blends. They have like chia seeds, like a ton of just like options to choose from, and they all taste great. So the worst thing about like other super green powders is they taste like super greens, and this tastes like a little chocolate shake. So that's why I like it. So we have our hemp seeds in our salad, and what we're gonna do is just to give it a nice toss. So at this point, after you toss it, feel free to add in a little bit more basil pesto. Like I said, if you love more basil pesto, which I'm definitely a big fan of, so I might add a little bit more. And the rouse is just like fantastic as well. It's like so fragrant. You only like, with the basil pesto, the reason like this dish doesn't need like additional like salt or pepper or anything like that is because like a little bit of this will actually go like a long way. It's just very, very flavorful. and it's versatile too. So like if you have leftover basil pesto, feel free to like throw it in like a pasta the next day, or like serve it with like your other favorite grains or just like vegetables. It's super versatile. Good to have in the pantry. All right. So now this is like nice and tossed and even. The last thing I want to add to it before we serve it is, so like this is kind of it all tossed together. The last thing we want to add to it before serving is just like this Kite Hill ricotta. It's like a dairy-free ricotta. It's made 100% from almonds, so there's no dairy in this. And I love Kite Hill because they don't use fillers, artificial ingredients. It's just almonds. And if you're looking for like a nice dairy-free option, you can find this straight at Jewel. They also make almond milk yogurt, which is a fantastic, a dairy-free alternative to yogurt as well. Again, made from almonds, no fillers. They have these like cool little like yogurt like tubes that are great to travel with because they're super convenient. And they come in like blueberry, strawberry, banana, which strawberry banana is like my like favorite flavor growing up. You can ask my parents. It's like every single time I asked for yogurt as a kid, it was just like strawberry banana, 100%, nothing else. I wouldn't eat anything else, but just like strawberry banana flavored yogurt. So that was like a very nostalgic kind of like throwback. So Kite Hill, if you're looking for that, you can find it in the yogurt aisle. So when you open it, it kind of like looks like almost like a regular ricotta. Like the texture is like essentially the same and tastes fantastic. Usually I will add this in like a dollop right before like I serve. So like this, and you just like mix it right in. Or you can like do little crumbles, like you can mix it and then like crumble it up and add it to your salad. I'm gonna add in a little bit right here, and I'll show you the final after I add it in. And then after you add it in, your Kite Hill ricotta, like I was mentioning earlier, to garnish your final salad at the end before serving, a little bit of this Gotham greens like basil. I just chop it right up and toss it right on top. And that meal took maybe like 20 minutes. It's super easy, super versatile, and because like you can batch cook quinoa, this is a fantastic dish to serve if you have like additional family members that you're cooking for, or you're like looking for a recipe to make at like your next family gathering, or like you're hosting for your friends, whichever you want to do. This is a fantastic recipe to do so because you can make a lot of it at once. And if you have leftovers, you can just eat it the next day. So this is our final like little presentation, final salad. We're just gonna throw in like a little basil on top. Jess, how are you doing?
I am plating mine right now. I had actually forgotten to throw in the beans, so I was a little late in the game with that one.
And then we did have a question from Beatrice, or actually from Sarah. Any tips for storing dairy-free cheeses?
With dairy-free cheeses, especially like because they don't, like with Kite Hill, like because there's like no like artificial like fillers, there's no like preservatives, like it's just straight almond. The thing is, you just have to eat it as much and as fast as you can, because there's like only a certain amount of like a time frame to like store the dairy-free options, just because there's no like, you know, like extra preservatives, and so, which is a good thing. So, but I promise you, like, it probably won't last that long anyways, because this like dairy-free ricotta from Kite Hill is like really dangerously like addicting. You definitely gonna try it. Let me know how you like it.
All right, I think I plated mine. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, how does it smell? If
it smells so good.
The basil is like so good, and obviously you can serve it with like a little Topo Chico if you're having like, you know, a little dinner with like your boyfriend or your family members.
That's awesome.
Yes, I think.
Go
ahead, Steph.
Are either of you guys vegan or vegetarian? Do you have any like specific diets that you are cooking this meal for?
So I am not vegan or vegetarian, but I really love, and this is what I like kind of like talk about with my private clients as well, my private nutrition clients, is like I really love recipes and dishes that are like very plant forward, meaning like this just like packed with veggies. That way you're getting like all the max nutrients that your body like wants to absorb. So I don't really follow like a specific lifestyle, but I do think that any lifestyle, like no matter like which diet or lifestyle that you follow, this like eating more plants and having like more plant forward meals is like a fantastic way to go. Like no harm done on any end for anyone.
Exactly. And then do you recommend supplements like B12 or other vitamins for vegetarians?
Yeah, like especially for vegans, like you definitely want to do like a vitamin B supplement, just because a lot of times like vitamin B is found in a lot of like animal proteins, but like beans are also like a fantastic source of vitamins, or a fantastic source of B vitamins. So like the bushel beans, like do like a variety of different beans. There's like a little bit of different vitamin like content and just like plant-based like beans, a little bit in quinoa. So if you eat like a wide variety of like plant foods, you'll naturally like get sources of B vitamins here and there. But if not, yeah, I would suggest like a B vitamin depending on like where you're at nutrition wise as a supplement if you're like a full vegan.
Cool. And then can we see your plates again? I missed it because I was very excited about these questions. What do we got? What do we got?
You guys see?
Those look so good.
I use spinach, so my plate has spinach, and then May use the arugula.
Yeah, I mean, you can use any of your favorite leafy greens, whichever one is your favorite. And again, that's just the nice thing about this recipe, is that you can swap it in and out.
And I'm actually gonna do that trick right now before I forget, May, of adding the paper towel. I'm actually using the Viva paper towels, as you guys can see over here, the package. And they're actually like one of my favorites to use, honestly, because they're just super absorbent. So that's going to be really good for this trick that May shared with us. And then I also want to let you guys know that Kimberly Clark is partnering up with One Tree Planted this year, and they're partnering up to plant and donate 10,000 trees during this year. So something really cool to think about whenever you're using your Viva or Scott paper towels.
Cool. Yeah. You guys have any more questions? Because I think you guys are answering the questions in the chat. You get a raffle into winning like a $50 Jewel gift card.
Yes.
Yeah, let's do some last minute entries. We do have a couple questions. So how long will this last in the fridge?
This will last like an additional like 2 days, 1 to 2 days, like max, like depending on like how much basil pesto you use, because basil will probably be like the first thing to kind of like go. But yeah, they'll still last up 2 days, so it'll work for like another like lunch, and like maybe like a lunch after that too, if it lasts.
Awesome. And then what type of nutrients do you get from the hemp seeds, the Navitas hemp seeds?
Yeah, a ton of, so hemp seeds is like one of those things I always keep in my pantry, because if you're a plant-based, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, it will give you fiber, it will give you plant-based protein, it will also give you iron, and it will also give you omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3s are just like the really healthy fats that you can find it in salmon, and you can find it in like various like wild fishes, but like a plant-based source of that would be the hemp seeds, or Navitas also does the chia seeds. And they're also like another fantastic source of the omega-3s. They're great for inflammation, to support our brain, to support our skin. Like healthy skin is made of like really healthy, eating really healthy fats, and that's a really great source of that.
Awesome. And then do you take the quinoa off the burner when it's on an electric stove, or do you just leave it on the heat?
I'll just leave it on the heat. Yeah, the heat will kind of like help the water absorb a little bit more, a little bit faster. Usually I'll just like, so I'll turn off the stove after the 15 minutes is up, leave the cover on, well, like fluff it a little bit first, and then I'll leave the cover on for an additional 5 minutes on the burner, just so like any additional water absorbs. like I said, like quinoa or mushy quinoa is like the worst. Like you definitely want like nice fluffy quinoa.
And then do the quinoa and beans combo need to be eaten together for max nutrients, or is quinoa alone a superfood enough?
Yeah, so quinoa is like another reason why it's like a fantastic ingredient is because quinoa actually contains like all 9 essential amino acids. So it's 100% a complete protein. So our body doesn't make the essential amino acids. We have to get that through eating food. And quinoa is like one of the few foods ingredients that provides all 9 essential amino acids. So you can totally eat it alone, or if you mix it with the beans, fantastic, because you're getting even more of a variety of different vitamin contents, minerals, more fiber, more protein. And that duo is like what helps us stay full. And so this is why I love this dish so much.
Awesome. And then we've got a couple more, but mostly about do organic veggies last longer than regular veggies? Can you add meat to the dish? And I think you mentioned like chicken and like salmon pair really well with this. Any good wine pairing recommendations?
Ooh, oh my gosh. I feel like I'm biased because I like love in the summer like a really like crisp rosé, because like this like dish is like a little bit lighter, and so like to pair this with like a really light like really dry like crisp rosé, like a light rosé is like my choice. But usually if in the summer I will usually go more for like a more refreshing, like I'm a big fan of like the reds, but in the summer I like something a little bit lighter, so sometimes I'll go for like a white. But rosé all the time in summer.
Awesome. And we'll do 1 or 2 more, but what types or what is your view of alcohol as a registered dietitian? Like healthy, not healthy? What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, there's the thing I see about just people coming in regarding their diets, alcohol is like one of like the biggest like questions I get, because like I feel like there's always like a negative connotation to alcohol, and it really comes down to like it can absolutely fit as part of a healthy diet, 100%. I think that most foods can fit into our diet in like a healthy way, and it really comes down to like your drink of choice and how often you're drinking it. So like having a glass of rosé with dinner, totally fine, in my opinion, because it totally fits into a lifestyle like that's sustainable. If you enjoy a food and you can make it and find ways to have it in moderation, like I think alcohol totally can fit in. It totally like depends on your drink of choice too. So like I would say your better options are like the lighter beers, the wines, and then like with the cocktails, make sure that your mixers aren't as sugary. So really like with drinks, I think the biggest thing is like people choose and really enjoy, but very like sugary cocktails. But there are ways to absolutely enjoy a good cocktail while you like reduce the sugar. So maybe like cut down on the amount of like juice, or like use fresh juice, or just like do like an Aperol spritz with like Topo Chico, Aperol, like really light syrup, kind of just like find ways to like decrease the amount of sugar, I think is like the better ways to go. But if there's a drink that you like absolutely love and like you want to enjoy from summer, I would say like definitely go for it in moderation. Like to everything, it truly is about moderation.
Awesome. Well, thank you, May, for answering all those questions. I know that we've got a couple more, but I did want to get to our raffle. And congratulations to our 2 Navitas winners, Mary and Beatrice. Woo. All right. Do we need a drum roll? Anyone want to do a drum roll?
Jess, it's all you.
All right. Our winner of the $50 gift card is, oh, everything's falling out. Whoever reached the floor first won. All right, we have Noreen.
Yay!
Yay, congratulations, Noreen. I will get your info in the chat function. But until then, does anyone have any last minute questions, thoughts on the recipe? I know that this was a really great recipe, and I love all the brands that we used today. So thank you so much, May, for cooking with us. And do you want to talk a little bit about any resources you have on your website, or anything as a dietitian that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I am Chicago based and I take private clients for nutrition all over the country. So if you want to find me, you can just always Google Nutrition Happens, which is my private practice on Google, or you can also find me on Instagram at Nutrition Happens. It's where I post like more fun recipes and kind of like nutrition tips here and there. So, but yeah, I'm Chicago based. If you're looking for a dietitian, I'm right here.
Awesome. And well, thank you so much for participating in our first Earth Month series. We have, I think, 4 more to go. So tune in, everyone. We have one next Tuesday and Thursday, and the next Tuesday and Thursday after that. So tune in, and Jess will be on for all of them. So awesome. All right. Any last closing thoughts? I think we got so many questions. Thank you so much for everyone being involved. This was great. I loved all these questions, and I'm going to let you guys eat your delicious food. I know that it's been teasing you. I don't smell it, but like that's probably for the best.
Now you have a recipe so you can make it.
Yes, exactly. And I will be sure to email everyone on here the final recipe. So for those who cooked along, thank you. And if you didn't, I'll send you the recipe soon.
Yeah, and then one last thing I did want to mention is I did see someone ask where they could find more information about the next virtual cooking classes. So you guys can go to gogreenwithjewel.com to RSVP for the rest of these virtual cooking classes with Jewel-Osco. And you can also find them on eventbrite.com and just search up Jewel-Osco and they'll pop up there too.
Exactly. Yeah, we've got so many. And there will be more chances to win these $50 gift cards for questions. So tune in to more of these virtual events. And if you're feeling like you want some more freebies, we have some physical events as well. So we'll have that in 3 stores. So feel free to check out that website for more tips on recycling, recipes, and more of these events. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, May. Thank you, Jessica. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.